Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Can you hear me?
Yes.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliy al-azim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Abil Qasim al-Mustafa Mohammed.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. La siyama baqiyatullah fil aradin. أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. There are some aspects of Iman that sometimes you wonder whether they are requirements of Iman or whether they are personal, traits and personal differences. For example, sometimes we say some people are very optimistic, some people are pessimistic, some are 50-50. Or for example, to be hopeful or to be hopeless, to be positive or not to be positive. So this is a kind of, I think, issue which is sometimes not very clear. For sure, many times personal opinion or personal character of scholars or leaders change their understanding or shape their understanding of Islam. Yeah, although methodologically this should not happen. Yeah, and it's possible not to happen. You can be yourself, for example, very much a person who doesn't like to be in society, but say Islam is a social religion. It's possible. Or maybe you have had some bad experiences, you have decided not to do anything in society, but still you may encourage other people. It's possible. But many times our experiences and our personal traits of character get into our understanding of Islam. And therefore, it's very important that we try to discuss these things independent from our own experiences and see what's the requirement of faith. In Waterloo, after the session finished, one brother asked me about seeing the differences. And he said, it seems that we see differences more easily than commonalities. And I said, yes. And actually, if you remember in discussions about interfaith, sometimes, we said that human mind seems it's made in the way that notices the differences more easily and quickly. Yeah. So when I now look at here, I first say there are human beings and there are objects, and then I say these human beings are different in age, in gender, in shape, whatever. It takes me some efforts to identify commonalities between these things. For example, these are all human beings. These are all, for example, beings or whatever. So I said, yes, this is true, that our mind is like this. And then I said, it seems that also our mind notices negative points quicker than positive points. And I think there is a wisdom behind this. Why we notice differences first and why we notice negative points first. My humble understanding is that for a living being, the first priority is, as you also indicated, is preservation, is survival. That's the first priority. So you have to make sure that first you protect yourself against dangers, then gaining benefit. Our scholars say that daf'u dharar is prior to jalbul manfa'ah. I want to use that in this context. Jalbul dharar is, pardon? Daf'u dharar is prior to jalbul manfa'ah. To repel harm and to protect yourself against harm is more important than, not more important in the sense that significance. It means it's a priority. So first you protect yourself, yeah? So for example, if you go to a new, for example, neighborhood, first you try to make sure that you are protected against the thieves, then you start making friends. So first you protect against the thieves and then you make friends. Not that you first make friends and then thieves come and attack you. So this is very important. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this instinct kind of instruction to us, and has made our mind in the way, and even animal, that first our priority is to protect ourselves. Secondly, there are so many things around us that we cannot notice at the same time. Yeah? So if there are, for example, 40, 50 people sitting here, and I want to notice all 40, 50, it's very difficult. It's impossible, of course, for me. As long as they are sitting, okay, I can be okay. Then if one person goes away or jumps or raises his hand, I can notice that. But if I wanted to notice all 40, 50, would be difficult. So what happens is, I make a picture of what is right now the situation, and then notice any new thing to that picture. Yeah, because my mind cannot notice all the differences. This helps me to be alert. So if I want to protect myself, the priority is to notice what is changing. Because even those things which are not changing might be also dangerous, but I first notice the change and the difference, okay? So, it seems for a wise plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by nature, not by aql or hikmah or whatever, this is a kind of nature thing, natural thing. By nature, we note changes first, then fix things. We note differences first, because this is the way to protect ourselves. This is the way also to identify things. And also negative things, because negative things are also something that can be endangering us. What we need to do is to train ourselves to note the opposite. This needs training. This doesn't come by nature. This is in need of practice and training and making it a habit. So, by nature, human beings are complaining and blaming and pessimistic nature. I don't mean fixed nature, I mean tabi'ah in contrast to fitra. So by tab'ah, they have such tendency, but they have to train themselves and they can change themselves. We cannot totally stop it, and we shouldn't totally stop it. It's good that we notice difficulty, but we have to train ourselves. But at the same time, you must not go too far that then you don't see bad things, or you don't see the changes and the differences. You have to be very careful. So we need to train ourselves, because we tend to this side. You have to go a little bit, farther away in that side, so that you achieve the balance. So when it comes to a mu'min, it seems a mu'min is the one who has the balance. A mu'min is the one that would not only see negative things, would not only see things that worry or are danger. He has trained himself or herself to be able to see everything that can affect his or her situation and decision. Okay? This is one point. So to be balanced is very important. But I want to go further. I say not only a mu'min should be balanced, indeed it seems mu'min should be more leaning towards the other side.
Which one?
To be more leaning towards the positive sides and towards things which are common and things which are not changing. Because actually this is more, as one of the sisters mentioned, more compatible with our devotion to God. So if we were thinking that the world is a free place without any lordship, any Rabb, then you could say, okay, there are positive and negative things. But this is under rububiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you should be always finding more positivity than negativity. You should always find more reasons for hope than for losing hope. Yeah? And because all go back to the same origin, so there is more commonality than differences. Yeah? So this is, I think, something that we should examine ourselves to understand whether we are on the right track or not on the right track. How positive you are, how hopeful you are, how capable you are to note commonalities, and this makes you successful. If you just notice differences and negativities, okay, you protect yourself for a while, but even maybe because of not being able to make good decisions, you will be destroyed by other people. Because sometimes you are protecting your business because you are not able to take any risk or see anything positive, but then other people benefit from wisdom and you are finished. You know? So it's not always safe to be cautious. Those who are very cautious and only look at the negative things and they want to protect themselves, they cannot grow. So a mu'min should be able to not only be attending to both, should be always more hopeful and more positive, and think that this world is in favor of mu'minin, in favor of good intention and good action. So I think if we manage to establish this in ourselves, it would affect many, many things. We should never let problems so much preoccupy our mind that we think, okay, it's finished. We are just, make useless resistance, but we are finished. This should not be our mentality. So you should always have the mentality that problems are like bubbles, but truth is water. And Quran, is very clear. Quran says falsehood and truth are not equal in their strengths. Falsehood is like just fake. Falsehood is not real. Haqq is real. Yeah? Falsehood is unreal. The attraction and the power of falsehood comes from what?
Lack of
The fact that we see the negative always first.
The power of falsehood comes from association with haqq. So false gains the power of haqq and deceives us, and we think it's powerful. You know, like for example, how a fake alim can be successful? Because he uses the power of ulama and the trust that people have for ulama. Or how a fake note can work. Because people know what is note and they are trusting notes. So a fake note is using that. So in order to defeat batil, what do you need to do?
Change perspective.
Now, not to let batil to show the strengths of haqq in his camp. And this is why I think the main battle is between iman and nifaq. We should not be too much worried about kufr. We should be worried more about nifaq. Because nifaq uses the power of haqq. Yeah, munafiq comes to the same masjid, to the same, sacred platform, uses the same sacred concepts, but is doing opposite. So if we say, for example, people should have dignified life, a kafir position says, no, people shouldn't have dignified life, like for all.
Okay.
This is not a problem today. Alhamdulillah, today kufr has no power. But munafiq says, yes, we want dignified life for everyone, but it comes from the way we say. So this is why perhaps in dua iftitah, at the end we say, Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karimah tu'izzu biha al-islam wa ahlah wa tudhillu biha an-nifaq wa ahlah.
Not the kufr.
Not kufr. Kufr by that time inshallah is finished or weak. But nifaq is the main thing. Because the real batil is nifaq. Yeah? Kufr is obvious. And when it is obvious, it cannot stand that much. But nifaq is... Okay, we said many things, but you have to then think what we said. Do I need to make a summary, or it's clear?
Good. Look at the full half of the cup.
Pardon?
تفاءلوا بالخير لعلكم تفلحون. Like a narration maybe.
It would be nice if you summarize.
Okay. So, what I said was, sometimes, or many times, but not necessarily, but this is a reality that happens, that people's background and experiences affect their understanding of Islam or any religion. Okay? So the way I have been brought up, I have been thinking, can affect my understanding of Islam, although it's not necessary and it shouldn't happen, but this happens. Unless you immunize yourself. If you have clear methodology and you define everything, then you don't let this happen. So one of the things that we have to equip ourselves is about what should we do with respect to negative things or differences. So I said, it seems that we are by nature, which doesn't mean that it is fixed, but this is the default unless you do something else. We are made in the way that we notice differences first, we notice changes first, and we notice negative things and dangers first. Okay? So be alert. Don't let this shape your understanding of Islam and your decisions, so that all the time you become a person who only thinks about negative things, or things which are changed or differences. Train yourself to have a balanced position, but also go further, and at the same time that you have balanced estimation of the situation, but know that in this world the balance is in the favor of good things. The balance is in the favor of haqq and positive things. And the world is under rububiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a school without manager. It's a school which has manager, but that manager doesn't interfere in every little thing. But he doesn't let things go out of control. Okay? And then we said, batil has no strengths. The only strength that batil has is coming from deception. Because people normally, they don't want to do bad things. If haqq was clear, people would not go to batil. But people unfortunately find batil and haqq mixed, and then they are confused, and they go after their desires when something is not clear. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan fa'attaba'ah wal-batila batilan fa'ajtanibah wa la taj'alhu mutashabihan alayya fa'attabi'a hawa nafsi. When it's mixed, then you follow your desires. So we have to know that the world is built for a purpose and has a Lord, and real forces in this world are forces of haqq and good and virtue. The other side is void and empty and shallow, and just by deception can work for some time. This gives you a very positive attitude. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Shaykh.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Awesome. Thank you. So we do inshallah Salatul Asr.